when Connor comes around, we still have to finish the Goblin Camp off.
Yeah.
Just saying, if
I've
you
got Karlach now.
nice.
Yeah.
If you need any not exactly min-max help, but if you need any tips, I've played it literally 7
Owlbear on
times.
him.
Owlbear from the sky.
Yes.
Yeah. Owlbear off the top ropes.
Seriously, I've seen the obscene damage it does, and I don't want to question it. Just
It's maxing out at 1500.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Nothing whatsoever. Okay, before we start, I want to know, eventually, I'm going to test it, if Kudenos, the dragon of one of the characters, if using off the top rope will kill that fucker instantly. Because if you do any damage to any character there or provoke action in that area, the dragon disappears immediately. I want to know if you can kill it with off the top rope. Just imagine all the XP you'd get. Anyway.
I've not got the game, but I've been seeing some of it. I'm assuming he's the merchant one with the dragon behind him. Somebody's killed the dragon. You just have to sneak attack him to death before he can react, and then immediately sneak attack the dragon to death.
Did the guy...
It looked like a painful task.
Fucking sounds about right.
Yeah.
The only one that there's about 4 dragons in the game, I think. The only one I know of for pseudo certainty that people would have used would be Kithrak Voss, who's a Githyanki. Has that kind of mild brown kind of face. I don't know how to explain Githyanki. I think they've got studded pieces in their face sometimes, but anyway.
They have tiny noses.
Tiny noses, yes.
They do.
Tiny noses.
They have
Tiny.
they have bat noses.
Ooh, I was getting flirted by from the what was she called? Zariel, whatever she's called.
Lae'zel.
Lae'zel, that's it. Yeah. So she was flirting with me, but I was flirting with Astarion.
Ugh.
I let it happen.
Also, yeah, I'm not surprised. You and Rachel both. So I've been watching some.
Yeah, but come on, you know what I'm like with vampires. It was
Oh,
never
yeah.
a question of if with me. It was just when.
It's just, how many times are you going to see him, and which of those many times are you going to be rolling a 1 on your natural 1 on your d20? Every single time.
I mean, I just rolled to do recap and got a 3, so it's going well.
Well, I wasn't going to have any of you do a recap, so
Nice.
so instead, though I'm not going to lie, I'm slightly forgetful about the fact too, from all I recall of the last session, was obviously there was the bits of fun that Brewin was going through off in the distance. You guys haven't technically seen that in character anyway, but of course...
We all left Orleans.
You did.
I can't remember what we were doing.
He was fighting a questing demon, or devil, sorry, whose specific intent, its whole reason for being, is doing that one thing, and it is succeeding. It is destroying one of the smaller villages in the Windbar Pass for the sake of its master, drawing the souls of living creatures into an hellish inferno. Brewin and Merrick Angon, his trusted ally since his youth, had tried to resist against them. Merrick himself is being very quickly taken out and harmed, and that's kind of where it's been left off for the most part. A bunch of imps had been destroyed very quickly after just being born by Brewin's power. You guys, having just left Orleans, had just a little bit before that an intervention from some familiar figures of a certain cult. With a quick 1-2, fuck these guys, you slam the door on them. After a long night in an attempted arson, there was a couple of calls made and a couple of intentions noted, as you all try to find a way to get to Brewin with haste. You settled temporarily after getting a scroll from a strange imp from Lycorus's father on going to see Lycorus's mother, whom seemingly, as you arrive, has an airship floating about 10-15 feet above the square in which her house and a couple of other people's houses of a degree of nobility reside. And she stands in the front of the center square, a landing platform resting gently behind her. The skyship itself, it doesn't have any motors or anything, it just seems to be a near literal ship that's in the air. You can't see what powers it, though you can see what looks to be these small multi-sided gems embedded into the side of the vehicle that faintly glow. Outside of that, yeah, you all step towards Lycorus's mother, who is waiting there with two attendants at her side, one a drow and one some kind of goblin, it looks to be. It's got a very trimmed down top hat, but you can see these slight elvish slits for ears poking out. His face is obscured with a black mask, and they look almost like they're in mourning garb. And as your mother dearest steps forward, does anyone have anything to say first?
No.
No.
Nice outfit.
I
No.
assume I'm about to be told off, so I'll just wait.
Has anyone else seen an airship before?
I would say...
Or are we all just staring it in awe?
I feel like I wouldn't have.
No.
I feel like I would have.
I would say it would go... You, for example, Trafalgar...
I'm old as fuck.
Trafalgar would have seen them, but like it's more of a... It's not a surprise to see one for you, but it's not one as well. You would have never really seen one up close like this, but it's something that you'd see often in Genasta. In the distance, of course.
Not this big. Yeah.
No, yeah. Looking at the size of it, it's about like 100 foot wide. It's lengthwise, sorry, and about 30 foot width, give or take. And it's just kind of there. It's just floating there. It's making barely any sounds other than this gentle like. I'd say Lycoris might have seen one or two, depending on her adventures in Genasta. She would have definitely seen a handful. But again, a similar
We're looking
effect.
at her mum's one right now, aren't we?
Yes.
She might have seen it.
It's always been in the garage until now.
Yeah, she hides it when I come around because I just break things.
Just every now and again you hear boop 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 boop.
I'm just staring at it. Me and Vlad are just like, what is that? Oh my god.
Yeah. I'd say Vlad
We
especially.
are very poor.
Did we bring Estari's uncle with us?
Oh yeah.
No, he's hooking up with the horse lady.
Oh.
Oh.
The lady that owns a horse stable, not a person who's a little. Just to
Hey,
clarify.
look,
Yes.
look.
Whatever he's into, man.
In a fantasy world, that's pretty normal. Also, they're called centaurs. You're racist.
I'm old. I'm set in my ways.
That's
Older than even you thought.
I'm very old at heart.
And so, yeah. Then, as you all walk up with your assorted reactions, some of like those quiet gasps, other of, great, she's gonna say some shit to me again. She takes a step forward, the drow to the left, holding what looks to be some kind of bag, very stylish, but still covered completely black. You can't really make out where any of the pockets are, if even there are any. He's holding it delicately in one arm. The goblin to the side steps forward with her. Doesn't do anything unique itself. Well then, daughter dear, it would appear that I cannot aggrieve you. I have been informed of your dealings in the Yonama, and despite how our reputation together is not a good one, I have heard you have been reformed with your memories. I assume by that you understand everything properly now.
Kind of. There's still some gaps.
Yes, indeed. I assume our blood runs thicker than water now. Or am I mistaken?
Does that mean she's asking if I forgive her?
Something like that.
We're a bond with family now.
I guess you could say that.
Good. She turns to her left, makes a vague hand motion, and you see the goblin move his hands forward. He kind of bows a little bit. As he moves his hands forward, you see on the centers of his palms there are some kind of runic markings that have been etched into his flesh. As he holds his hands forward, you just see poof, a bright blue flash of light, and this scroll appears in his hands. He holds it up towards her. She takes it from his hands, unfurls it in front of you with an elegance, and she holds it with barely a pinch from the tips of her finger and thumb. And you see written down on it in what looks to be Elven, and I'm going to take an easy assumption here, you know Elven.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So,
think. Yes, I do.
I should hope so. You give it a quick skim read over before she starts talking. Mostly it looks like some kind of inheritance.
I'm legitimate now?
You see at the bottom there is 2 spaces for signatures, one of which is signed already in your mother's name, the other of which is not yet signed, of course. In my hand I have your birthright. However, this will only come, and then she points up with her free hand at the skyship above as well, should you agree to 2 circumstances. Once you are done with your ventures with your friends here, you will come home and you will help your sister control the many businesses I have running here in the Gestatten. This does not limit your movements, this just means you will have to assist her wherever she goes. As a guard, as a... She kind of like flails her hand a little as if to say, someone help me here. And you see the drow go, an informant, an advisor? And then she goes, yes, that. Also, you are never to visit your father again, since you know why that would be a bad idea. And if you can agree to those things, I will give you your inheritance, which, might I note, she points up, is a rather large and expensive one, and you will have nothing extra less my currently only daughter agrees. If you agree, she doesn't make any motions. You see as the goblin flicks a finger and a small quill appears in his hands and he holds it up toward you. And there's this little mischievous kind of grin on his face before he tilts his hat down and he covers his face. And if you should choose not to agree, I'm afraid this is where the conversation ends. I feel I'm being rather fair, all things considered.
Must I choose right now?
Yes.
Can I think about it
No.
over a cup of tea?
You see her eyes kind of drift for a second, and there's that look of, well, I could go for a tea.
I don't mean to be I'm not being rude. It's just it's been a very long few days, a very difficult few days, and I just need some time to acclimatize.
She looks in a strange way at you for a moment that you could almost mistake for concern. And then the eyes fold away from you, and she looks up toward the sky itself, the roof, and then looks back over towards you, kind of with the same mildly disdaining eyes. But by this point, you feel like it's just her bitch face.
Oh, I know that.
We will speak of a fine brew. She kind of waves her left hand a little bit. The goblin gently takes the scroll from her hand, folds it up, closes his hands around it, and you see it poofs out of existence again. But we shall have it on the sky ship. I might as well make use of it since I've called it all the way here. And then she turns around and starts walking up the platform.
Before we go, is
Tea, darling.
I'm just gonna turn back at the others and like shrug and just follow, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm assuming all of you go with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you all head inside, at the minute it's mostly barren, to be honest. It's the kind of shit you'd expect to see on the ship. The top deck is pretty much the deck of a normal ship, except for over where the Jesus, why the fuck is it now? My brain goes to mush. Over where the wheel is on the ship, you see what looks to be a large crystal, similar to the other ones embedded into the sides of the ship, but slightly smaller. It's embedded into the middle of the wheel, seemingly some kind of, obviously, connector to them. Over there at the time, you see no one's currently stood there. It seems anyone who would be manning this is either not here right now or has been told to not be here for the time being. As you go to the top deck, she moves toward the captain's quarters, which is directly underneath the wheel itself, pushes the door open, and the two attendants quickly set up a tea set and begin boiling the water with a gentle firebolt cantrip. And a couple of chairs are pulled in, and it's made cosy enough. The captain's quarters, very much like everything else so far, is pretty barren. There are a couple of nets along the wall that have assorted what look to be like fishing implements, and there's a chest just behind the captain's chair where your mother is, of course, sitting, which seems to have some kind of magical lock on it, for all you can tell. You can't see any like seam around it, but you can see it's a chest, and you can kind of look at it. You could tell it's one of those you can lift up, but there's no visible entryway into it. As she sits, kicks one leg gently up over the other, and cups and saucers are gently placed down in front of each of you, regardless if you want one. The smell is kind of like a gentle lavender, surprisingly. And as she sits, assuming you all follow and sit too? Question mark?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you say? As she sits down, just gently starts sipping.
So Angelina survived the battle then, I presume.
She just goes, and there's a bit of a tone.
I'm gonna look at who's got a parent? I'm gonna look at either Trafalgar or Esatari to try and figure out what that tone means.
You
It's
two,
a fair question.
you two make an insight check.
Oh god, we've led her astray, haven't we? I can just see it now. We've led her astray with our shenanigans.
Just straight insight. Oh no, it is not. Sorry.
Trafalgar doesn't know women very well.
You know what? To be fair, that's fair. Because
His mom is a bit of a singular woman.
Esatari has a good family relationship. She could easily
Yeah,
tell you
fair.
7 things about her family. I feel like absolutely Trafalgar's just like, I saw my mum look at me like that once. Well, I still don't know
why,
what she
though.
meant by it. Yeah, it was weird. So in the case of Esatari, that's that. Yes, she's fine. No thanks to other people convincing her to do these things in the first place. It's a slightly accusatory tone. How do you want to try convey that to her, Esatari?
Well, I can speak telepathically.
True. How do you convey that to her?
She might be a bit put out. You've not come to check up on her before now, or took the fact that we asked for transport before we asked about your sister might not be the best.
Okay. I'm gonna blink a few times and just be like, I'm very sorry we didn't ask about you sooner, but we are under a lot of pressure. And I'm not used to this stuff, you know.
Tari's just like wincing.
I'm like fiddling with the sleeve of my armor and just picking like my wrist and like any scab or anything, just like awkwardly.
Trafalgar,
we
make a
came
perception check. Sorry, carry on.
I was gonna say, I'll speak up and say we did come. We returned to Genasta to check up on various people that we are all connected to. Angelina is definitely one of the ones we were hoping came out of it all right.
So, after you two finish talking, and in the case of Trafalgar, there's this. You have tremor sense, and for a split second, you feel an additional vibration around you. And it's not like it's on a lower layer beneath you. You feel it around you for a second, and then it fades. And as you kind of like, you go a bit mentally occupied for a second, you try to focus on if there's any additional people here. You don't feel anything else, but just putting that out there to you.
I have tremor sense too.
You do, but
Aren't you missing a leg?
So does Vlad.
To be fair, this is more not only because of his class, but because of him as a person.
His parent.
Yeah.
This is something that wouldn't be normally detected otherwise.
Okay.
Just gonna wait for the mother to reply.
Yeah. So she says, well, firstly, I sense this is awkward. Also, it is more my child I'm worried about, less myself. I could honestly care less if you still considered me the bitch of a mother or not, if you had your memories back or not. This is the relationship we have assumed over the years, your memory lack or not. And I will take on that role should it be what we are now, but my entire being requires only one thing of you, and that is that you care for Angelina. I truly do not care what you think about me. However, should you take on your inheritance, I suppose we have some forced future between us, if that is... She kind of just shuffles her right hand in a kind of blasé manner. If that is what you want. I do not deem us irreparable.
Um. Yeah. Um. So the inheritance, I just have to be like a bodyguard advisor for Angelina.
Essentially, yes.
So I would have to be based in Gustodon.
You would have to be based where she is. And given my business draws me all over the world, you go wherever she goes. But again, this only really properly will occur when either I am dead and the inheritance, well, the business side, falls upon her shoulders, or she chooses to take it on herself, which, given her roguish streak, I believe will be a while yet, and I don't plan to keel over anytime soon. So you have time.
And you think I'm responsible enough for this?
I believe you know what to do when the time calls for it. You and your friends, you have made decisions that maybe while forced on you, or not even in your need to take upon yourselves, you have done. Not to mention, you have a history with taking over large organizations, my dear. I trust that you will have the best in mind for your sister. Your blood sister.
And I have to choose now. There's no...
No.
I mean, you don't intend to move on anytime soon, I would hope.
No.
So I don't have to choose right now.
You do.
But why?
Because I would like to know that should whatever you do next, if you do end up passing, at least I know before you passed I had 2 daughters, not 1. And I cannot allow you to leave without knowing where we stand. And that my daughters will be there for each other.
What if...
If
Wait,
you're going
so
to ask for some sort of delay, there will be none.
She must decide, she must decide. Even though we're meeting up, she must decide.
To put it on the table, the goblin quite literally summons the thing, rolls it along the table, just to add more daunting effect. You will serve once either I am gone or she takes up the mantle, when you have finished your journeys, unless, of course, either of those events occur first. You are free, otherwise, to do as you please after signing this contract. But should the moment come where I have passed, or she takes the mantle, you will return home, foregoing whatever it is you have to do otherwise. Unless, in the event that your sister agrees, you are no longer of service, in which case he will retain the inheritance I am giving you. But the benefits of whatever your sister decides to give you. If she so deems she no longer needs your aid, or you so deem, and she agrees that you have given her all you can, then you are free to do as you wish again. I will not be involved in those grand decisions, but I want a guarantee that you will do the duty and you will take up the mantle.
And the never speaking to the father again is from when you die, or
No, that is always. She kind of like closes her eyes for a second, looks away, and she'd click her neck if she wasn't, a delicate and, too fancy for that kind of life kind of woman. It's one of those, I really don't want to be saying this kind of moments. I would rather the sacrifices that I, your father, and essentially yourself have made not be for nothing. Should you ever see him again, once is an instance, twice is a common cause. They will know what and who you are, and you will ruin everything that we have worked for. Do not see him of your own willingness again. This is not even just part of an inheritance. It is the whim of a mother to her daughter. And it's not me telling you I don't want you to see your father. I just don't want what he encompasses to take you. He will have no restraint in doing the duty he is spiritually bound to, should you ever meet him again. It is for all of our benefit, and it is non-negotiable.
So, I know that she messed with my memory, right?
A little.
And so did my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a third person, wasn't there? What did I wrote it down somewhere, but my desk is an absolute shithole. Something about a lady with some eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think she had eyes.
No, it was like something special, Chloe.
Yep.
It was like a special lady with special eyes.
Oh, wow.
Well, put it this way, it was when you found out it was a heartbreaker.
It was.
Come on, there's only one other person.
Oralin.
Yep.
I'm gonna. Can I ask Esatari to look at the contract? I mean, am I? Can I? She's not my lawyer, but she knows. She knows. She understands. I'm good at. I'm not used to intellectual things. I'm used to. Well, to be quite honest, I'm used to far more illegal things. So.
It turns into an episode of Suits.
I need my lawyer.
Megan is Meghan Markle's character. Oh, and one more thing.
Well,
that's bullshit, and you know it.
To be fair, yeah.
It's more just I wanna know exactly what is expected of me in the most plain.
Satari, make a.
He's looking at it.
The sound of concern rises. Make your choice of. Let me just go down this real quick. Your choice of, and it depends on kind of just contextually, really. Insight for the people around you to determine generally the contract, as well as reading the contract. Investigation to actually read the contract A to Z. Perception for pretty much reading the contract, to be honest. It's all dependent on what you're better with. Insight, investigation, or perception. Your choice.
I hope I don't fuck it up.
Nice.
Oh,
So,
20s.
looking over the contract, the short and curlies of it, it's written relatively plain. There are about 3 pages, one of which is basically the breaking clauses, one of which is the reward clause, and the front page is pretty much just I, etc., gives this, blah, 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 blah. It's the general overview of what's actually happening. And then you have the specific, this is what this party gets, this is what this party gets. And then this is what happens if this party breaks this is what happens if this party breaks this. A to Z. The mother has no real part in this. She has signed her name to basically say that I, as the familial party, the mother, agree to give this inheritance to this child. Like, this is a proof contract. Beyond that, that's it. And it literally states in the child gets this area. It literally doesn't name her because she hasn't written her name in it yet. Because it seems to be a general contract that was formulated. So in this case, Lycoris would get ownership to the skyship, which is yet named. It is written to be in the 30,000 pieces cost.
Jesus Christ.
Not including the gems that are used to help the craft float, which come to about a sum of 7,000. There is assorted, like, small manifesto kind of bits, like cannonballs, yada yada, all that fun stuff that comes in with it. So all that would really happen is, upon writing her name down in this contract and agreeing to the terms, what happens with her is she agrees to, on the day of either her mother's death or Angelina taking over the family business for other reasons, she is to, upon hearing of this news, return home and assist Angelina in whatever way is deemed fit by Lycoris. Angelina herself is essentially beneath her in the hierarchy, but Lycoris has no control over the businesses. She can use the skyship as she wishes. That is her inheritance. However, Angelina can take on her advice as and when she wants. Otherwise, Lycoris is to mentor and protect her in every facet that she lives by, and is to continue doing so until both parties agree that Lycoris is no longer needed in service, and anything else during her time under the employ of her sister is between them. So if the sister says, okay, you can take these days off and go do whatever, that's between them. Outside of that, the mother has the only other thing that she has is a legal and written confirmation that Lycoris Stone is her daughter, and she will thus forth be named Lycoris the Vain.
Ew.
Estara's just like thinking about how complicated this family makes it. Like, we're just asking a lift to pick up our friend, you know? It's like, can we, take us there, or can we borrow the car? You know, just need to go pick up our friend rather than, in the other city. And it's just all this. It's like, okay, but you have to do all these things. You have to now. It's your car.
Got all the
just wanted to
responsibility. I have to
borrow
get the MOT and insurance, and I have to pay for fucking
Pay
fuel.
for crew.
And this is all just to be like, now make sure you look after your little sister. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
complicated family.
Trafalgar, make another perception check. Carry on.
So Sarah will ask Lycoris, what exactly were you wondering about it?
Oh, what's with these fucking twos?
At what point will I have to come back?
If
So
and when you get news of your mother's passing.
Or
Okay.
when your sister, which is unlikely, chooses to take over the business.
How old is my mum?
Hold on.
Just she's an elf.
She
I'm
is...
200. I'm 500 years. Oh, she's old.
Mhm.
I'm 500 years old, so
To
she's
be fair, is
old.
that you current or general?
Well, I've only lived this life for what? 200 years?
Because remember, technically, she's your mother of this life. Air quotes.
So she okay, she's not that old then.
No, she is. Hold on, let me just double check before I put a foot in my mouth.
Because my two lives combined is 500 years. So how old am I? My
You're
mother,
old.
I would hope my mother knows that. How old is my mother?
Dahlia is 450.
Oh, so I'm younger than I thought I was. Can I? It might be a bit of a strange question, Mother, but how old am I?
She does kind of like spill a little bit of her tea. She goes, I'm sorry, what?
Well, when the memories were amended, it implied that I was 500 years old, but I'm assuming that can't be correct. So how old am I?
From all I know of your previous life, at the very least, you were something in the 330s, 340s.
So that means I'm about 200 and something.
Essentially, yes.
Let's go 221 because I like the number 21. Wait,
Sure.
you didn't remember when I was born?
My dear, I've lived for over 400 years. You're lucky I even remember my age.
Oh.
And even then, I'm honestly rounding it down.
Well, I'll stick with 221. So you amended my memory, and my father amended my memory. Were you aware the extent to which someone else had amended my memory?
She raises an eyebrow.
It's just I have big chunks missing. I don't actually remember anything of this current life. All of my formative memories were amended to look like my previous life's formative memories, and the rest of it was kind of just made up.
Your father and I only tinkered with the nitty-gritty of the dark stuff that you were. We didn't touch the joining between your last and your current, much less your current. Despite belief, we have kept distant from you, for the most part.
So, the other person has just effectively wiped 200 years of my memories. Over 200 years of my memories.
I would assume, yes. We only intended for you to live a different life. One that wasn't stained. What you are now seems strange to mess with.
So you didn't see me after you dropped me off at the orphanage?
Of course She rubs the bridge of her nose.
I'm not accusing. I'm just very confused as to what I've done for 200 years, because all the memories I had for the last 200 years are fake, and there's nothing underneath them. So whatever was underneath the fake memories has been wiped completely. So it's kind of a blank spot, 200-year blank spot, like a really, really bad hangover, but permanent, and it's my life.
I can only tell you you will have to speak to whomever did that to you. I myself was not involved in actually modifying your memories to begin with. It was, of course, your father and Lupilla somewhat. Whomsoever actually did it besides us, more than likely is the only one who can remove that blot.
I mean, I know who did it. Do you have an inkling as to who did it?
She
I want to
just
see.
kinda
I want to see if
shrugs.
my mum susses. Oh, she's not Stussy of Orlanth. Okay, that's not what I was hoping for. Damn.
All
Will
that
you-
aside, let's
Okay,
not
okay.
skip the topic at hand.
I just have one more question. Mr. Loss knew me in my previous life.
You mean the
Uh,
boy,
uh,
the
the
she?
trapper. The trapper.
Oh yes, him. Yes.
He is still alive, right?
Yes, him and a toddler came to my place a couple of days ago, and they were
And
in a
this-
storm of panic and a bit
And
badly wounded, but they're fine.
and they're conscious?
I just said they're fine, don't worry.
And they're downstairs.
If by in the ship, then
I mean,
yes.
they're in the ship
they're,
or in the house?
they're down below in the ship. The second I mentioned you'd called, they essentially came running.
Shoot.
This is a very difficult decision. Not that I'm not happy with it being offered.
She stares.
I'm
The dagger's like, don't give
I'm-
me that.
I am it's unexpected. And you're not that old. You're 400. Okay. How old is Angelina?
Angelina, hold on.
She can't be more than 100, surely.
She is 120 something.
Okay. So she's still young. So I'd still get like a good few centuries of being able to exist as I am and figure out exactly what went wrong in my life. There's not going to be any immediate expectations. Right?
She stares with a raised eyebrow, as if to say, are you asking or are you telling?
I'm asking. It's not that I don't appreciate it. I do. I do genuinely appreciate it. But
What are you
I
two
just-
giggling about? Oh, boo! Why'd you have to mute? I was curious.
I just, there's a lot that I need to do, and I feel bad that I would have to drop it immediately. But the status quo is pretty status quo, right? It's not set in stone, but it's still pretty. There's no immediate expectations, right?
She just shrugs a little. If she needs you now, then she'll need you now. But given that she's taken this little rambunctious attitude to getting into battles, I would assume that she's not going to take the mantle of the business just yet. And she's still young. If you have such a trouble with this, she, with the edge of one of her nails, starts rolling the scroll back up toward herself. Then I will just take it and assume you do not require me for this. She's pulling the scroll along. It's slowly rolling.
I'm gonna look like frantically at everyone else, like I don't know what to do and I need help. And this is like genuine panic. It's not like oh help me puppy dog eyes. This is like genuine. I've never had this in my life and I don't know what to do. I'm not all that bothered about not seeing my biological father again because I didn't really know him anyway. And last time I saw him, he said he was going to feed me to a brain tree.
um, well, if you've got no issue with signing it, then it's not a bad deal. It's just helping out your sister, and she's reasonable. She probably wouldn't force you to be with her against your will. But this isn't our only method to get there. We met that guy on the beach, didn't we? He had a boat.
I know, but I feel like I trust an airship better than a random man on a boat.
Not to mention it'd be your airship.
Just think of how much quicker everything will be for us. Like, if you want to go visit your parents, we can literally fly you there. Trafalgar wants to go back to Genasta, we could just drop him off on the way through.
And I was saying, like, if you're happy to sign the contract, then it's fine, but you don't have to.
Do it.
I feel like I need to grow up a bit, so I will pick up the quill,
Hmm.
and I will sign the paper.
She lets go of the scroll and it slowly unfurls, and as the end of it lands flat in front of you, you look down at the empty space with all of the thoughts of what it encompasses. And as you're like just there, like shaky-handed, like
When I get halfway through my name, I'm just gonna pause and say to my mother, I need this. I need a year. I need a year guaranteed, but I won't be pulled back.
she
Just to loose to what's the word? To what's the word? I just need this
Live a
year
little.
to finish whatever we've done.
Tie up
I need
loose
to fin-
ends.
I need to tie up these loose ends, and I need to be able to do that without the threat of being dragged home. But then I fully intend to not. I just need the year.
She, while looking down at the paper, after you've written the Lycoris part,
It says Lyco.
oh, she's like looking down at it with that kind of so close. Make a persuasion check.
She's not gonna need me this year. Oh,
Woohoo!
that's
Just-
surprising for me because I got
just
+0. So,
saying. Just saying, you have inspiration.
but 18's pretty good.
Maybe
I
it's
know.
higher.
I'm just saying. What if it's higher?
I know, but what if I need my inspiration for something else?
Then you can have mine.
God, I'll do it again.
So remember, roll
This
with
is where
advantage.
This is where I get a 1 and a 2.
Roll with advantage.
Oh wow!
Oh god.
Lovely.
I want to take my first roll.
Fair. Okay. Anybody giving her any more?
No,
Huh?
let's not waste all of our inspiration on one thing.
Okay.
Vlad's got inspiration, just bear.
I
You
don't
can
remember
have
giving.
it.
I don't remember giving Vlad inspiration.
Oh,
You
it's on a sheet.
No, players get inspiration.
Oh. I must have put it back. I'll take it off. There you go, it's gone.
Well, good choice because you don't need it. So
Oh god, we were
She-
gonna use all of it.
Can you imagine we use all 6 of it and even like it was fine.
you beat it on a 15.
It was a 10 to pass.
Yeah, as you kind of look at her with that almost puppy dog like eyes, and she's
It's not puppy dog eyes. It's like the look of sheer panic.
yeah,
Like I need to finish this.
she's like rhythmically like tapping the table in impatience and thinking about it, and she just goes, "Fine." She snatches the scroll back for a second, passes it to the goblin, and you see as he takes the quill from you with a light grasp, he kind of makes a motion over the scroll without actually touching it, and then you see a couple of extra spaces make themselves on the page as he starts amending it very quickly, and then passes it back to you with a quick look. It basically amends now. After 1 year, if X or X, in other words, mother's death or your sister takes over the mantle, you have to come back and do the blah blah blah. But you have a year
Okay.
until this contract is permanent, binding. You
Okay.
have to do it.
Okay, cool. That works. I'll sign it.
Okay. And as you sign it, what do you sign it as?
I guess technically Lycoris Stone,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not Devane until I've signed the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
As you finish signing it, you see as the stone part of your name shimmers and turns into Devane.
Ooh.
Not to mention the little goblin to your left that's been hiding his face a lot of the time. As he slowly leans his head up, he has these little beads of red and black for eyes, and he looks at you, does a little bow, pulls the hat off his head and tilts it toward you. A pleasure doing business. I gotta go now just to make sure they're sophisticated. Is that right with you, Devane? She looks to the left and has that kind of face of utter disgust and goes, "Oh, yes, whatever, get out." And leans forward. Always a pleasure. Takes the page from you and goes, yeah, I am a demon, but don't worry, this is all legal and everything you just read, all up to board. There's no souls involved. She just likes it done professionally. So, yeah, just to let you know, after the year, if your mother's dead, or if your sister's taken over the place, you'll get a nice little... And then he kind of clicks his fingers, points at your temple specifically. They'll let you know that you're ready. And, there's no real repercussions technically, but you'll know, and we'll know that you know. And if the next thing you do isn't protecting yourself from whatever lurgy monster you're against, and then coming home, you're probably going to see me again in my real form though, so let's not have some uglies with that one, alright? Cool. He kind of just looks around to everybody and goes, right, I'm going to leave. He turns around, kind of gently scoots between all of you and between your chairs, and then he stops at the doorway and looks forward and goes, excuse me, mate, can you just... Yeah, I can see you. Come on, I'm a fucking devil. And
What?
those of you with tremor sense feel feet moving out of the way. And then he goes,
What?
yep, lovely, thank you, goodbye. Steps out
What?
the door and just... He turns into this red mist and disappears.
Who is he talking to?
Of course he would. She rubs her temple lightly and just goes, you may show yourselves. And you see, standing by the doors, 2 drow elite guard of House Devane. You see, stood beside her, and one behind her and one beside her, 2 more drow elite guard. And on the deck of the ship, you see about another 4 that are spread out and just looking around, coming
they
out of
think
invisibility.
They think we were gonna fucking kill her.
Before you ask or assume, no, I did not think there would be repercussions. This is just my honor guard. They have to come with me. There have been death threats, and the entirety of Gustodon has recently been invaded by undead. I am being precautious.
That's good. Stay alive.
Mm. Anyway, I'm going to get off
Nothing
of
I'm
your
actually
ship.
interested in that now.
She slowly stands and the drow attendant gently holds her arm, helps her up.
She's leaving?
Yeah. As they look over towards you, you see the elite guard kind of step out the way and make a line ready to accept her walking down.
I'm just gonna say, thank you for
Music.
taking me on.
She, as she's walking
Mother?
around, gently moves around some of you. As you say that, she stops just behind you and just says, yes, and it is only appropriate as a matriarchal society. and I could not leave this unresolved. She, very reluctantly at first, with a clenched hand, slowly moves her hand and places it lightly on your shoulder. And though her hand is cold, for you it's weirdly warm. And she grasps just a little, and then retracts it, and she walks out of the captain's room. I expect to see this ship back in one piece. It is yours, but don't get me wrong, I don't wish to see all that money wasted. Am I clear, daughter?
Yes.
Oh.
Good. Your staff will be here within the hour. Goodbye. And then she starts walking off.
I have staff now? Oh, Trafalgar, is this how you feel every day?
I mean,
Is this how... Oh, he's not here. Oh, God.
so she
We
walks,
have...
she goes
We
down,
have staff now.
her honor guard leave, and you guys have the lay of the ship.
Wow!
Does anyone know how to run a ship?
No, but I want to go and choose a bedroom.
Do I get the captain's quarters?
I mean,
Is that how... Am I the
I think
captain
so.
now?
I don't think owning the ship makes you the captain.
it
I
makes
don't
you
know.
the owner of the ship. You choose where it
I
can
think
go.
it would.
You don't choose
Do I...
how they get
do
I'm
there.
I
just
get-
trying to fly
Does,
it.
does the owner have their own room?
I mean, you'll have to explore and find out.
I feel like I should probably go and find the two people that came looking for us.
So, as you all kind of disperse, quickly rummaging around the ship before whomsoever the staff are that are coming to populate and drive it.
I didn't ask whether I'd have to do like political marriages and shit, but I would hope that would not be
I mean,
expected. It's
by
a
the
matriarch.
assumption, no. Considering
Good.
you're an heiress, but you're not the heiress.
Thank God.
So
We better make sure Angelina gets a good husband,
yes,
or I'll
That's-
kill them.
that's one of your jobs. So good luck. Essentially, one of your jobs. You've got to make sure
Nice.
she has the appropriate male.
What if she wants to marry for love?
She can marry for love. I'm game.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't try and murder her, that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as he's got lots of money too.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Trafalgar's like, political
We'll help
marriages.
you.
Angelina.
Yeah. No, I am not.
I mean,
One
hey,
of your brothers.
hey, all I'm gonna say is, if Trafalgar and Angelina, that's two pretty strong families in both sides.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it is
damn.
possible.
Like-
Come on.
They're two
And it's
single pretty
pure political marriage.
purely
I've
political.
met two of my brothers. One's already married, and the other is clearly into men.
Political marriages, man. She might
They
be
might
into
have-
ladies.
Yeah, and also, well,
Yeah.
the thing is, for her side, it's not going to last very long.
That's true. You'd just be like you'd be
Yeah.
a tester, technically.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
You'll be a blip in her lifespan.
it'd just be like, oh, what was the name of my first husband?
The
Like,
same name as my
A
second.
reminder.
Thanks for a permanent reminder of your mortality.
I didn't expect that from you, Satari.
I mean, she reads a lot of romance novels. There was this one where an elf fell in love with a human and she gave up her immortality for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably to the
And then
elves,
her-
I'm not much
And then
longer
her
living
friends
you.
threw a ring into a volcano.
They did.
It was really romantic.
It was so cute. And someone tried to steal them away with some stew, but it was gross, so it's fine.
Exactly.
He wasn't jealous.
Starting
Okay,
to
I guess
feel
we should
the
go find two
plagiarism.
rooms. No. Let's go look for rooms. I assume there's guest quarters. It's a
Yeah,
Come
oh.
on, put us in
and-
guest rooms.
it's an airship of a noble, so there's going to be guest quarters.
I'm
It's
going
not
to
a
ask
cargo
you,
ship.
one of the crew members of the
Who are not
ship.
here yet.
Oh, I thought you said. Okay, we're waiting for
Does
them.
it have a library? I feel like Lady Devane's the kind of person that would have a library on an airship.
It does not. This is not filled yet. This is essentially a fresh ship that was just never really used for anything. It's one of those,
So
oh, I'm so fancy and rich, I have a ship that I don't
It's
fucking
like having a
use.
sports car that you never go out in.
Literally.
I can give everyone their own rooms.
Yeah.
Is it
So there's
unfurnished?
nobody on board but us right now.
Yeah.
And Mr. Loss and Ishgari.
Yes.
I wanna go and find a room.
I wanna find the owner's room and dibs it. And then I'm good.
I mean, again.
You don't need to dibs the owner's room. You are the owner.
That's true.
You've just been around Trafalgar, who would probably go in there.
Yeah, I just know if I don't dibs it, Trafalgar's gonna be in there.
And there'll be no moving him.
Exactly, there won't be. He can climb up walls. It'd be an unending chase.
So,
Are we going to where Trafalgar wanted to go?
I guess we should all go look at rooms then, guys.
Yeah.
Find
Ah.
somewhere comfortable for
why not?
you all.
I'm assuming there's a stocked kitchen already.
no.
Oh, I hope so.
It's almost like this is a fresh boat, and at best you've got vegetables.
Oh, we've got to buy things.
Yeah, she's got it ready to go on a long journey, but not stock the kitchen at least. That's your
Okay.
mother is not great at planning, is she?
But you don't know. Perhaps the crew, perhaps the chef is bringing the food with him. Is
Then
that
I'll
what
go
rich people do?
Yeah, it's like a super
Yeah,
yacht, isn't
no.
it?
Rich
They do
people
a
don't do
fresh
it.
batch of everything for each outing.
Exactly. So
Just
maybe
look at the rich people.
maybe the crew will have stuff like the rooms don't even have bedding. So I assume the crew will bring stuff. Is that you're the only rich one here, Trafalgar? How does this work?
But the only rich one
Oh.
now.
I don't know. It's your mother's ship. Like, I'm gonna go wait for the crew on deck then.
Okay. Then if they don't bring supplies, can you ask them the quickest way for us to get supplies?
Well, that's the supplies, isn't it?
Oh.
So funny.
It's your ship, isn't that really your responsibility? I'm
Yes,
just gonna
but-
go keep an eye out for them.
Okay.
But I'll ask.
Thank you.
Wow, you two getting along for more than 4 sentences. Fuck me.
I'm very overwhelmed right now.
Okay. Right. You're gonna have to give me a minute because I'm making a very temporary map for this.
Ooh.
It is very much empty. Do not think there'll be anything great on it. Just letting you know now.
But that's why we have to buy things.
Yeah, because this is
Exactly.
why you've made it unfurnished.
Just think, Esatari, if you would like a library and there's a spare room, you can make a library.
It's not the only person on this boat that reads.
Yes, but she's the only one I trust to buy books at a decent price and put them in a bookshelf correctly.
I mean,
Alphabetically, by genre, author,
I don't know. Well,
colour.
I've never been in a position to look in a library, to be honest with you.
so
Maybe
again,
Maybe in a half decent bookshop then.
so again,
no, I didn't
very,
do that. You
very
guys did
rough
that.
map.
It's black.
God damn it! Hold on. Why does it
I
make?
can see it.
Why does it make? Yes, because you're on the map.
Oh.
Ooh,
There you go.
Oh, I'm off the side. I'm on the railing. I'm doing a Titanic.
she's in the Wawa.
You're in the wild. Okay,
We
so
downstairs.
for the time being,
Wow.
just to let you know, the top is of course the main deck. It's the captain's quarters would be
Mm-hmm.
over here underneath where the ship's steering wheel is. Again, it's a rough map. Just pretend you have imagination. Well, actually, to be fair, what am I talking about? Like fucking captain's quarters right there.
I mean, I'll let the captains live in the captain's quarters.
Yes. So this entire middle section is where everyone would live. Obviously, it's empty. Use your imagination. The bottom is typically where you would have all of your assorted carrying bits, crates and the like of food, gunpowder, whatever you want to have. You
Where
could
would
also
the
have
crew
livestock, or you can just have a shitload of extra rooms down there if you want to. but you still need somewhere to keep all your shit. So, just future information if we do ever need combat in the air. But yeah, each of these little like spoked areas, just assume them to be rooms. So like very tiny room there, so on and so forth. Again, imagination. I apologise.
I can make this. I have the map software for this.
Ooh.
I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a very rough idea for you for now.
I just let people choose their rooms. And I'm gonna go and try and find where Mr. Loss has gone.
Okay. So, I can drag you all into there real quick. And Mr. Loss is... Let me just find him real quick. Boop. There's Ishkari. And... Where the fuck is Mr. Loss? Where are you, son of a bitch? Where did I leave you?
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. There we go. New token and all.
Oh yeah, we haven't put the new token up yet.
Yeah, girl. Okay, so as you guys get to the center, you hear the sounds of scraping, almost. The sounds of something being moved down below through the grates. I'd say more so because I conveniently put him there. Trafalgar, as you kind of look down, you can see between the grates, you can see what looks to be a very familiar Ishkari with his little mask over his head as usual, and the trapper, pretty much, wearing more casual wear, but what looks to be like a gas mask on his face, and they're currently like shifting a barrel. What do you guys want to do?
Yay, my two favourite people. I'm already gonna hate this boat. And then I'm gonna run down here, claim this room at the back, and go, "This is my room, stay out."
You choose the biggest room on the boat.
The one with the
At the
mask.
very bottom, at the very back, yeah.
Yeah. People have to go out of their way to find them. Yeah, sounds about right.
Well,
Yeah.
I want this room.
Okay. Mark it with your
At
own
the very
colour.
Wait. No, wait.
Yeah.
That's the captain's
very
quarters, right?
The one at the
that's-
further back, yeah.
That's captain.
Yeah.
So that's Lycoris.
At the front, where you're gonna run into the reef and
Oh shit,
and
yeah.
everything.
It's not great for self-preservation. Do you think the captain would mind swapping rooms?
I mean, it's the captain's quarters, so people are going to walk in there and be like, "Oh, Captain, this. Oh God, what are you doing
yeah,
naked?"
that's true. Hey, I wear clothes
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
sometimes. No, I'll stay there. Or maybe I want this bit. I want to be in the. No, I shouldn't be in the basement. That's a bit. I don't want to be where Trafalgar is.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
You two cross in the corridor while you're going toward the stairs. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Plus, that was
Both
still the
start
front
running.
bit.
Yeah, but that bit's under.
It was
Okay.
a bit more protected.
I'll
still.
I'll stay in this room up here. It's got steps. It makes me feel fancy.
Yeah.
You know, there'd be a room up here behind this as well, because the stairs down are here. This is below deck.
Well, to be fair, this
So
is
that
this
would
is
be the
above
captain's
deck.
quarters.
No, that's above
Yeah,
deck.
that would. Yeah,
So
that would
right
be the
down the
captain's
back is the
quarters.
captain's
No,
quarters.
no, I
Yeah.
see what you mean. Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
Hold on.
That would probably be where you've noted captain's quarters would probably be primary guest number one.
So yeah, like, of course, if you want to go to the bottom part there, you can.
Yeah, I want that bit.
Okay.
Whee!
And you can stamp on the floor, and then Trafalgar will hear it.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
like, quiet down there.
Quiet, you
can be
pesky
like Mr.
kids.
Heckles.
So the captain's upstairs.
Yes, captain's quarters are up there.
Nice. So I have that one. And that can be the library. That's a book. There you go. Because it just feels fancy to have a library next to my bedroom.
Yeah.
So
Not
one
the
of you
treasure.
one of you guys can have the nice room with the upstairs bit.
I've got my room down.
I am content.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
no,
not on the map. He's across.
I
from me.
want the top bit to be the library. There you go.
Nice.
Because then it's like out of the way of people's rooms.
And it's near Esatara's room.
Exactly, the one person that's going to be using it can have
Yeah.
it.
Just marking real quick.
Ah!
What?
Lie.
Where's my room go?
And suddenly, whale.
Oh, it's smaller now.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it. Shut up.
That's fair.
I'm the captain now. Shut up.
I was like,
I
I
mean-
picked that one because it was bigger.
Da, 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 da.
So that will be the war room.
War. Is a war room.
Was it good
That's
for?
a war room.
Absolutely nothing.
Fucking
Where
nothing.
do we eat? Where's the kit dining room? Is it down by Trafalgar?
It will be wherever you guys make it.
Up over here would be the kitchen.
Where?
Oh yeah, because it's the top
Oh.
bit of the ship.
Nice.
Oh yeah, at the bottom somewhere. That's what I would envision.
I gotta say, in a really dumb way, this very basic bitch paint situation we're doing right now is probably the most fun I've felt in a while for this.
This is
Like,
great
it's
because
really stupid.
once you all go to bed, I'm just gonna open up my map software and make it.
I look forward to seeing it.
Okay. Where are the staff gonna sleep?
Good question.
Down here?
Gonna have to get bunks.
If we get them
Yeah, because we're taking up all the room.
Yep.
they go,
They can have our rooms when we're not using it. If someone else wants to loan it out to someone.
yeah, that's a fair point for the staff to be there. What
You know,
would you
I
put in
can
the
just
bit
I
then?
can just type that for you.
It's fine. I can do the same.
So you're just choosing to be awkward. I see.
It's called be creative.
I mean, to be fair,
Yes.
considering you
room
writ that, you drew
Yeah,
that,
that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Guest room 1, guest room 2.
GG.
And this is going to be Brewin's bedroom when he comes back, the one opposite Esatari. When
Opposite
he
Esatari.
comes
Oh
back,
no!
He's gonna
But
romance
you
her.
know you have nothing to worry from Brewin.
he
Oh.
already sister zoned her.
I know.
I'm pretty sure you were there for that.
I was.
We all were, remember?
It was
Yeah.
lethal.
Except for Trafalgar.
Trafalgar wasn't there.
Because it was in the dream sequence mind meld thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone was like collectively like, ooh.
It's like,
That's harsh.
Psychic damage.
yikes.
Okay. We've all chosen our rooms.
Yeah.
Priorities.
So,
I will tell Esatari she can go buy books if she wants. As many books as she wants.
Gonna be her
But the
new favourite
bookshop
person.
got destroyed.
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh no!
I was waiting for that.
I mean,
One of the
the whole
bookshops.
time I've been like, oh.
The most
Do we-
important bookshop.
I might. Everywhere we go, I can buy a couple more books.
Fill them up
But we
from
need-
across the
we
world.
don't- We don't have any bookshelves or any beds, so we might
Yeah,
need to
it's-
buy some beds.
We
So-
should get making some. We could get a carpenter. or
Just for a bit of
something.
speed, because technically this is the last session for a while.
Yeah.
What?
We're getting a
what?
book started,
What
not gonna use.
specifically? Oh no, trust me, I want to keep this going, but because I don't want to lose too much time with this.
Okay.
What last
Ah.
checks do you guys do before the staff get here? Because you've got about an hour. There's not really much you can do with this place. Physically.
I think we just run round. We section out where things are gonna be
Mhm.
with like rope and stuff.
Yep.
Everyone agrees on where stuff will be, and so the kitchen and the dining room are up there. Staff quarters, and then everyone's bedrooms, and then once we've done all that, I guess we need to see if one of us can go and find like some carpenters to come with us, because they might. I mean, the journey is going to take a few days, right?
Yes. Hold on.
So we might as well have some carpenters come with us with wood, and they can get started on the building whilst we're in the air.
So where it would
Not that I
normally.
don't.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because not that I don't totally trust Lycoris's mother, but I'd also just like to do, just kind of investigation and arcana checks just around a place, just
No scrying eyes anywhere.
That's a good idea.
Or maybe she's like put some protection in like place or something.
What would
You never know.
you like to do specifically?
I could detect magic, and then you could do another kind of check as well.
I've got detect magic as well.
Oh, you
30
do.
feet. It's not huge.
I can stand at one side, you stand at the other, and then we move.
Well, you both, start in the middle.
We'll do
3
the
steps
fellowship
forwards.
back. Yeah.
Damn it, trying to find a good even here. So sorry, I distracted myself. What are we doing? Sorry, what specific? A spell?
Yeah, I was just gonna do a check, but we might as well do detect magic.
Okay. Then do you kind of just go for a whiz around, just
Yeah,
checking
that's
everything?
10 minutes. I just walk around, see if I can sense anything.
Okay. So as you kind of just like run around quickly, just checking every nook that you can find, make a perception or investigation check. Jesus Christ. Good day for Resatari.
I see all.
Yeah, I see everything. As you top deck, middle deck, bottom deck, go running around. Other than the very, very obvious, the crystals on the sides of the ship that are just pulsating very high levels of magic, something in the 6th to 7th tier. The ship itself, the like underlayer of it, the undercarriage, so to speak, has a gentle 6th level magic running along it as well. It's specifically along the. It's technically the ship itself is technically metal. We'll just ixto facto all of that. Yeah, specifically the underside of it is enchanted with something, but it doesn't seem active at the minute. But it seems more like kind of like how a trap would work. Is when the thing that would cause it to activates, it will do the thing. What's the specifics of detect magique? Oh, okay, so it's not. I mean, fuck it, I'll give you the specifics anyway. So in the case of this, because good check, and generally speaking, you've got the time to figure it out, you know that should the ship ever start descending for some reason, there is an enchantment on the bottom of the ship to cause it to have a temporary reverse gravity spell cast on it, which doesn't stop the ship's descent, but it makes it equivalent to a featherfall spell, just at a greater level. So instead of crashing, if it detects an increase in drop in altitude very rapidly, the ship will just slow to a crawl instead. It's a defense mechanism, and one of the reasons why the ship is so costly.
What a nice mother.
Yeah, not gonna plummet to our deaths. Woohoo!
Yay! The books will be safe.
Although everyone else can fly anyway, so
It's just a few.
I can't. I
sometimes
can't.
you can.
Oh yeah, true.
Just believe. So yeah, anything else anyone would like to do?
I will talk to the people.
Okay.
Other than that, I think I just ask everyone to like think of what they need, and maybe Anessa write a list, because like she knows she can just keep a track of what everyone needs.
Sure.
And then hopefully when the staff arrive, we can just be like, tell
We
us what
want
we need to do.
We want this, we want this, we want this.
We need to find some carpenters and shit.
I want
Yeah.
a bed, I want it to be fancy for a poster, thank you.
Exactly.
We need a bar for our alcohols and our vodka.
Could have a bar.
Yeah,
Just doing the thing.
it can be by the kitchen. Or outside my bedroom.
Jail. Next to Trafalgar.
Oh yes, that's such a good idea. We do need a jail.
Okay, so
That's how we can put him when he gets too drunk.
as the
Bring us back to our roots, huh?
as the time goes by, you all exploring, checking out the ship and its many intricacies. Everyone's mostly just doing their own thing, figuring shit out. Ishikari and the Trapper come to meet you at some point, like Chorus, but we can have a talk about that in a bit. As your attendants arrive, you all hear the sounds of movement on the top of the ship itself, the top deck. Let me fucking find a good token. I'm just gonna put commoners there for now. So, don't mind me as I populate it. There you go. There's all your crew. And just for a little bit of difference, there is your Mon Capitan, dotted in a gentle orange.
Nice.
Do you guys go up as you hear the sounds of what sounds almost like an invasion?
Yeah.
No, they would announce themselves. Just
I'm finishing-
disrespectful.
Finishing my list as we walk up.
They're currently looking around, some of them looking down at the grates, trying to figure out what's down below and just trying to figure out where anyone else is. And as you arrive, Trafalgar, they kind of look over. The captain, looks to be some kind of half ogre. He's standing really tall. He's very muscular, but it seems more of a kind of a natural thing for him. He doesn't seem to have built any muscle. So in a weird way, he's kind of like scraggly, sort of. He has clear defined muscle, but it's not like he's tried anything with it. His face is a bit shrunk. As he looks over towards you, slightly greyed skin and what looks to be like a single half tusk almost growing out. Hello, are you, he kind of looks you over and goes, no, you're not. I'm sorry, is the owner of the ship around?
He is, but she wants to know first if you brought the supplies.
You see, he kind of like motions behind him. You see a couple of people, a couple of them have like backpacks on, and some people have these sacks of what look to be possibly food in their hands. The women behind are carrying a couple of bags and the like as well. You see assorted implements for like smithing, general woodworking, and leather supplies. They seem to have carried some bits with them. A couple of them have actual like packs that you'd find adventurers with, camp supplies and the like. They seem to have brought assorted bits with them. And as you kind of like look overboard, you see what looks to be a wagon that's perched up just besides the stairway that you can't see the contents of, but you can just about make out another person that's tinkering at the back of the vehicle.
Nice.
We've brought some supplies. Yeah.
Oh, good. Then I don't need to say the next bit. So just set yourselves up, and Chorus is below decks somewhere. Just head on. Oh, here she is.
I was on my way up, just very slowly.
Like Dracula, she appears through the floorboards.
I
Patooey!
heard her.
He felt me coming. I was
I
like,
feel
bang,
presence.
bang, bang, bang.
So heavy-footed all the time, my chorus.
I have no regrets.
No regrets. So as you appear up top, they look you over and almost with an instant snap of like, yep, that's her. The captain goes, right, I'm Gurge. He kind of like tips this small cap he's got on. It's more like a slightly brimmed hat, but I'll be your captain should you need that. I'm more than fine to just be a skippy if you want, but I have the know-how to fly the vessel.
Very nice. Nice to meet you.
Treasure room. He nods. And you, my lady, where can we settle down? It's been a bit of a journey to get here.
We have set out a preliminary staff area below the deck. It is only set out by rope at the moment. I apologise. We haven't had the time to have it furnished. But it will have bunks and cleaning facilities eventually. We just need some time to get it in place.
Well, that's entirely fine. Honestly, with up until Lady Devane even called, we haven't actually slept in a proper bed for a while, so it won't be too much of a sea change. We'll make do. Thank you. I assume it's in the lower deck, middle.
Yes, the lower.
Okay. He kind of like makes a spin motion with his finger toward the people behind him. Come on, everybody, let's go. Would you mind showing us where to leave assorted instruments? This is, of course, from what I've been told, a fresh vessel. We can sort of help construct things as we go, but it's, of course, all in your purview.
Yes. And I guess I'll show them to downstairs, and I'll just walk them through and give them a layout of like obviously the captain's quarters will be up here, with probably I'd say like a navigation room there.
Yep. Hold on, let me. Oh, okay, that works too.
And then the kitchen over here with a dining room, and then show them like there's gonna be rooms here, and it's all like it looks like a fucking building site with rope just showing where like the bits of the rooms will be.
Yes.
And then down to the bottom floor and just explain like
A, B,
that's
A,
gonna
B.
be where their room. Yeah, that's where their room is. That's where the bathrooms will be. There'll be a med bay. Blah, 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 blah.
Verbal
And then
splash.
if they think anything looks stupid or doesn't work, then to tell us we can change it.
Then you tell them immediately to go fuck themselves, get off my ship. Gotcha.
Where's the bar?
The bar can be up by the kitchen can be like there,
Yeah.
and then that whole area is like a dining room with like a little bar.
Just to check, lib at the top there, library?
Library,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll just write that down.
And then probably like a storage room there.
Well, it seems like you've got an idea for yourself, which is always good. I don't particularly have any notes. Your mother has given us funds to help you figure the general vibe of the place out, so we can assist you with that. We will need to maybe hire some more hands. Only myself and 2 or 3 of my other compatriots here really know how to construct. But that's more so basic things. Any intricacies will either have to wait, or we'll have to get someone to do so. But we can get the necessities for you.
Yes, we did intend on trying to find some carpenters, any that were able to travel, and perhaps they could get started on the journey.
Mm.
I don't know how feasible that is. I've never done this before.
Well, I've sailed. Well, I've sailed one other vessel, but I have been on several. A handful of them were skyships, so I'll give you the guidance where you so require.
Yes.
Okay,
As long
so
as we can leave as soon as possible.
yes, I was told there was something of a haste.
Yes.
If it does help, we can just, from what I've inspected, the vessel itself can be. I can take you there. There is nothing we specifically need to move the vessel. We just
Then
need to choose where.
Then if you could give us the name of some carpenters that we can send letters to ask them to help on our return, we can just get on our way.
Well, about that, since I was informed in advance, I had made mention to a friend of mine. It's more just a case of now sending a letter back to let him know that his assistance is required. He lives in the lower town, but it's whether or not you really need to leave now or not, because he would probably be busy.
How long would he need?
About half a day.
Would that give us time to set up all of the food and get the supplies on board and
I mean,
get ready for departure?
we ourselves brought enough food for about a month. Anything more than that you'll have to purchase yourself, but I should assume, again, we only really need enough food to sustain us, somewhere feasibly comfortable enough to rest, and I need my hands on the wheel. That's really about it.
Do you think we can wait half a day, Trafalgar? Oh, he's not here. Ezadari! Do you think we can wait half a day?
How long has, like, this morning taken, or it's unknown amount time of day taken so far? Like,
So
since
we got
kind of
a
got
left
up.
in the morning, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we expected to be leaving imminently anyway.
I'd say it's around about 2 p.m, give or take.
So if they got here by the evening, we'd be able to go.
I mean, yeah, plausibly.
Can I ask the captain, like, does setting off at night affect it at all, given...
It depends on the cloud line, honestly. If there's a lot of, we'll call it air traffic, then it's going to be difficult to determine where we're going, since we can't fly too high above the clouds and not know where we're going towards, but we can't fly so low that we run into mountains. So it honestly depends on the cloud line. It's strange things to think of, but especially since the size of the vessel itself, we have to worry about what we're scraping against. And if I can't see what we're going toward, well, you know. And during late at night, I have dark vision, don't get me wrong, but I believe it's better that I see a mountain coming. So I would prefer some degree of light before we move. But it's not impossible.
Could end up waiting half a day to a day, really.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to you then. It's your ship. It's airworthy. Is there any form of, like, bedding? Or...
You guys
like,
would have bedrolls, and they themselves would have bedrolls.
Yeah.
I guess we just do that then, and maybe we pick up some people in Genasta.
Yeah.
So you would like to leave now then?
I think that would be the prudent option.
That is fine by me. I will just make sure that my people are acclimated and they know where to leave their bits, and we can move on your word. I will say barely even half hour, and we'll be in the sky.
Long is the journey on average?
From here to Genasta, if we're talking the border, are about 6 days, unhindered, since we don't have to worry about anything like the tide or interfering air traffic, since a skyship in itself is very unique. So it should take 6 days to get to the border, but it depends where you want to go within Genasta.
A bit further in, I think. So we're talking probably a week's travel, so we could delay half a day to a day to make it more comfortable, or set off now.
Pretty much.
Which are the cities that we know of in Genasta? We know the capital.
And you know Windbar Pass. For the sake
We
of...
know Windbar Pass.
You...
Some of us will know more, though.
Yes. Hold on. So, why is it not in there? I will have to edit that, because I'm an idiot. Don't mind me as I panic scroll through everything. Just quickly skim reading the thing. So, because of that saying, you know the Silver Mountain Menning, which is the one with the Empire of Genasta text is. It's a whole sacred thing of its own. It's considered a location on the map, but it's just not somewhere most people can get to, because it's well protected and it's a religious aspect, pretty much. I could have sworn to the holy fucks that I had written down the names of places, and I am very sad that I did not. Let me just double check that I am not being done. Because I feel like I might be. Okay, there it is. So from left to right, top to bottom, Prosperity is the first city you would meet. Then the mountain to the right of that is Menning. It's just a mountain. There's not anything really being used there. It's used for resources sometimes when they need to. It's mostly just another place. It's just a mountain. To the right of that is Dignity. And then you've got sparse cities scattered out here and there that are not technically unnamed, but they're not a fully realised place. They're just extra locations. So, bippity boppity, give me a second. Because it should be on this map, because I'm a fucking dingleberry. Got Prosperity there. Dignity there. Mount Menning. And got the Cap C. And you've got the town of Pilfer. You've got Rogue's Edge. And you've got... shit. Run. There you go. And there are your locations. So Rogue's Edge, Pilfer, and the Run are just given titles more so than city names. That's not what they're called. Dignity, Prosperity, and the capital city are the only named cities and fully recognised places. Pilfer is a hive of scum and villainy. Rogue's Edge, despite the name, is only known for that, mostly because of the kind of work that you can hire people for there. It is otherwise a civilized location. And the Run is just a small city that's by the water. They're good with fishing. So, you guys just note Windbar Pass?
Yeah.
Okay. So Windbar Pass, assuming there's no air traffic, aka you get attacked, that will be essentially 11 and a half days, or 12 days at max. Well, 12 days at max, as in small circumstances. Because you have a straight streamline across the sea and across Prosperity and the like, yeah, you can get there in roughly 12 days. And since Windbar Pass itself is a mostly open plain, you can land essentially wherever you need to. Obviously, there might be a few rocky places here and there, and it might be slightly awkward, but you have a flying fucking ship and a lander, so you don't really have to care that much. You might have some trouble, and by that I mean that in the most minimum sense, when flying near Prosperity, as air traffic without being informed in advance is a problem, but luckily you have a ship captain who has worked for Prosperity before. So all you would have to do is land temporarily, tell them, this is my identification, this is a new ship, blah blah blah, I'm leaving. Maybe pay a small fee because welcome to the world. And then you will go off your way. But it will be 11 and a half days to get to Windbar Pass.
And they brought supplies for a week.
A month.
Oh, a month.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, plenty of time.
Yes.
But Prosperity being a slightly bigger city might be a good place to pick up a carpenter.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And somebody who's a bit more familiar with Windbar Pass. Because I've never heard of it before.
Me neither. I guess we go on our way then.
Okay. Let me just check a thing real quick. Okay. Okay, so fresh air, blah, blah, just finishing off, or attempting to finish off, the actual stat sheet for your ship, because those are a thing. So, for context, your ship has an armor class of 18. It is a metal-wood hybrid, with mostly metal pieces. It is considered enchanted and or a magical ship, because I mean, obviously, there's no identifier for that, but just for the sake of you knowing, it has 800 HP. It will have several actions. Its current total cost for the entirety of the ship, not counting anything you put in it, is 37,000. Its keel and beam length is 40 foot. Its damage threshold, which means it has to take a minimum of that damage, or it takes no damage, is 30. It can move 160 feet around, and the rest of it I will add over time. But yeah.
Okay.
As you guys begin your journey across the great expansive seas, let me just check some real quick things. Make your token slightly bigger. So I'll get you to the edge of the map real quick. So first and foremost, is everyone going to use their rations for the first couple of days? Or are you going to just rely on the month?
I haven't got any rations because I'm poor.
Okay. So, over the first 2 days of flight, you cross the expanse of Gustodon, and as you look back in the distance from here, you are just below the skyline enough that In the distance, you can see Alden's remains, but you can also just about make out what looks to be more bridge than you remember. It's quite a distance from here, so it's hard to pick out any real true landmarks or anything. But you can see what looks to be like something of a crew there. And by your guess, slowly but surely, Alden will be rebuilt over time. The people of Alden, of course, you know, are all currently safe within the temporary hold created by Lupilla, a small utopia of sorts, constantly under guard. They have something of a good life in that place, as they're well kept, well fed. You know, all of the allies you made in Gustodon, be it Iltzimar, God, I'm gonna have to go down the list real quick, because there's quite a fucking handful. Hold on. I'm gonna move Ishkari out, actually. Hold on, because he's not there anymore. He's with you guys now. Cool. You know that from A to Z, the 4 Genasi that were the brokers that both Chloe and Erin had as their informants and otherwise shady dealers are still there. They're still very much alive, still very rich, and you know, just because you're leaving the continent, you're probably still going to see them again at some point, if not someone who works for them. You just know. There's no way you're not. And yeah, their business will continue. Iltzimar, of course, he lost his shop, but you know, he has a slight idea for a business on the side, and maybe Genasta will be involved in that in the future with the scroll business. And and he, of course, will begin that over the time and prepare for the future, and maybe for the day he re-encounters a certain someone. You know that Kier and Anriel have their own little side story to participate in, to find out what to do with the scythe and maybe treat whatever this illness is that Kier has. And they won't be alone. They've made a good friend in Jasper as well, who, unlucky as he is, constantly falling into line with people that are either getting chased by cultists or in some big brawl with a bunch of undead. He comes to live with it. Like, he was a bodyguard, that's his line of work, he just kind of makes the best of it. He becomes good friends with Anriel and Kier over the time. You know as well that Orlinth has left Gustodon for Genasta's waters. Or maybe some of you know that. We'll see. At the very least, she's not around anymore. The Trapper and Ishkari, of course, have come on the venture with you. And they weren't kidnapped, don't worry, they're fully aware. He's taken and created, as the journey goes along, some more spider bombs, just in case he needs them. There is also one other thing that he shows specifically to you, Lycoris. And if you look at the list, you will now see Trapper's Scout Raccoon. A little pet, a little gimmick, we'll call it.
Oh, it's so cute.
It will travel along with you. It has no harmful capabilities whatsoever.
It's just cute.
It's literally just cute.
I like that.
You learn that the Magata Manor, the place that was kept by Ishkari, is given temporarily over to Waraji, the guy who acted as his not exactly father figure, but someone who looked after him temporarily. He will look after the manor in his stead. The Devanes, of course, will remain popular, powerful, very wealthy. Angelina, despite maybe wanting to come on this journey, you don't hear anything, but there is that kind of looming, like, I bet she would have. Your mother, of course, is slowly but surely changing. She's becoming slightly kinder, slightly more warm-hearted, but staying just on the edge that she doesn't get either of you too attached to the concept. And, I mean, beyond that, you guys will head the distance. Now, we still have roughly about 20 minutes before we usually finish session. I don't particularly have any ruthless plans that you guys as characters wouldn't be able to get over in this grand scheme of things in your journey across the seas. So I will just narrate and say that there will be events that occur with flying monsters that will appear and try and bash your vessel to pieces or drag your crew off. But I would say, given how capable you all are and the fact you're level 10, you're all a force to be reckoned with by this point. There's nothing that's threatening enough that could do something to any of you that you couldn't take back. You have revivifies, you have fly spells, you have so much power amongst all of you, even with just your weapons. But there would be attempts, and there would even at some point be an attack from a ship below, from everyone's favourite cultists, who would attempt to blast you out of the sky with cannonballs and catapults. And because of your capability and the fact your ship does have cannonballs that can downward face, you very quickly can fucking make mash of them. And you, if you wanted to delay your journey, could go down and take the wreckages, take whatever you can find from the ship. It's entirely up to you. You are told it will delay the journey about 2 hours, though. So it's entirely up to you guys.
Do we want to delay by 2 hours?
I'd be tempted, but it's you guys call.
I leave it to the decision of... Yeah, don't...
True. Okay. So, talking strange levels of sense instead of, yes, loot the vessel, you all, but just continue across the sea. Like, fuck that boat. As you start to notice the pieces sinking in the distance, you're just like, no, it's probably, okay. This is probably a good idea, to be fair.
It's fine.
That's fine. As you continue across the sea, again, you'll see some giant sea creatures, you'll see some strange poking stalagmites in the sea itself that look like has to come from some large something that can float to be able to protrude such a large thing, or it's come directly from the bottom of the sea. You don't really want to think about it. As you finally reach Prosperity after several days in the air, okay. You guys are docking in Prosperity temporarily. Specifically, you, and as funny as it sounds, you will dock at a shipyard because,
Nice.
technically speaking, the actual landing pad would be for official vehicles, but you guys have to stop there, tell the ferryman, this is us, this is a new vessel, here's the paperwork, she's the captain, she's the owner, I'm the captain, so you pay a fine of 50 gold pieces, because you are a new vessel, you are entered into the system, and for the sake of not driving you all insane, you will need a name for the vessel, but we will leave that for whenever we think of one. But that name is written down and it is catalogued, and you are given a pass, and the captain takes that pass, puts it in his pocket, returns to you all, lets you know this is this, this is that, and you can essentially leave.
Woo.
Yeah. And,
Nice.
I mean, if you guys wanted to stay for a day, you are welcome to. Of course, that will add on to the time you already have, which is a successful 11.5 days at the moment. Adding a day, of course, would make it 12.5, but that's up to you. Because prosperity is named that for a reason. It's very prosperous. There's a lot of culture, there's a lot of commerce, there's a lot you can do here, a lot of people that would be good to hire. But the problem is with your current situation, depending on how things go, you would have to hire them for several days, which might not be a problem depending on what you get them to do, but you may also either have to give them a lift back to prosperity, or at least money so they can get back there, if that's where their business originates. And if they have a successful enough business, you'll have to pay them out.
What do you think, guys?
I don't know.
None of the work that needs doing is like urgent.
Yeah. Could we not just pick up some dock workers that know what they're... Yeah, like, Trafalgar's right. Hire the dockyard shipwrights. Get them to do it whilst we travel to Prosperity. We'll leave them on the ship to do their thing whilst we're finding Brewin, and then we just drop them off on their way back through to Gustodon.
Yeah, if you want. Then... Ooh, Lupula's not there anymore. Put him down there. Vlad can stay because he is there. Give me a second.
Could you put the ship map up for me one more time, just so I can screenshot it?
Yes, 1 second. Boopity. So, yeah. You can easily hire some rights if... However, how are you doing it with returning them? Are you giving them money so they can return just in case you don't? Or are you going to return them by vessel yourself?
I guess money, because we never know what happens with us. We might end up being
Yeah, true.
sent off on our way again.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just forget about them and they're just like, but I'm meant to be coming with you.
We're like, we want to go home now.
I want to go home.
No.
Shut up.
I have a wife and kids. It's like, I don't care, shut up. I've got to kill this
busy.
dragon. Okay. So,
Prove useful.
after a bit of haggling, someone either from a loot or a combined loot or your own personal deduct a total of 50 gold pieces.
Oh, that's fine. I'll take it out of mine. It's
Okay.
kind of my fault, anyway. It feels mean to make other people pay for what is essentially my ship, so...
Okay.
We all get to use it.
I
So,
know, but it feels mean.
as you give them that money, that's enough to hire them for the jobs. The general job description is essentially work hand. They're very much fully calloused hands, wide-browed, fucking tonker boys, who already have their own tools to do any sort of work. They also bring with them assorted bits of wood and obviously the know-how. They bring on board crates and large barrels worth of extra tools and pieces of materials to craft rooms with. They'll be simple rooms, they'll be wooden, and they'll have the bare minimum to section off areas. Is there anything else you would specifically need them to do, or is it just to create the room space? Because to furnish it is different.
I think just create the shell,
Mm-hmm.
and then... Obviously the shell in different places, like a shell for a library, pretty simple.
Yeah.
Just make the walls and the bookshelves.
Yeah.
I'd just say anything that has to be fitted, like if we want beds, maybe we just buy beds.
Yes.
But anything that has to be fitted, so like shelves, cupboards, all of that stuff, they just do all of that stuff.
To be fair as well, in Alden, they are... because of the way things work, they had to up price a lot of things. So it might not be exactly that much in Alden, like vodka wise, but they had to up price some things because, yeah, They were a small little shanty town on a bridge that nobody really wanted to go to anymore because it was getting attacked.
Oh.
And now it's gone.
That sounds very familiar
Mm.
to the UK.
Well, yeah.
Not being attacked, but no one wants to come here anymore.
Yeah, fucking shithole, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you hire them.
Yeah, we spent a lot on vodka.
Over the next couple of days on your final trip toward Wimba Pass. They will construct... let me just check, hold on. Because obviously they'll need to have rest of their own. So you've got about 5.5 days. They will construct... Sky Piracy. Yes. They'll construct the basic shell. They will not complete every room. Though that's not to say that they're not trying. It's more just because they've had the equivalent of about 3 3/4 days of actually making the shell. And there's not that many of them. I'd say there'd be about 5-6 deckhands, but you've got a lot of rooms needing making. And
Okay.
yeah, they start the better portion of it. Let me write down how many crew you actually have.
The captain's an orc, right?
Half
Did I
ogre.
remember that correctly? Half ogre.
So essentially, yeah. The orc genes typically take over anyway.
Is he going to be like the eloquent ogre man?
Oh no.
Able to skate.
Yeah, but he cheated.
I like him.
He's using something.
Oh,
Yeah. Not telling you what, but he's cheating.
I saw the naughty people in the barn again.
Oh.
I forgot that it was that barn, and I was like, this seems really familiar. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's why.
You've
I had
seen
to restart. I had to go back to my last save point because they attacked me.
I mean, one thing I'm still confused about is what triggers the event of you actually just actually asking what's going on instead of just opening the door. But yeah, anyway, shit and stuff. So 5 deckhands done. Cool. So yeah, they make the shell. Most parts of it, but there's still some bits missing, and they'll do that over the rest of the days that they have while you guys are in Windbar. And as you arrive, again, it is kind of a small thing for the most part. You can see what's essentially a small mansion on the side of a hill that is surrounded by water with a little moat, generally speaking, in the bridge that leans across to a slight beach-like area. You can see off in the distance there's about 2 to 3 villages. I can't remember specifically off the top of my head, pardon me. And I can't tell you what one of them looks like, considering it's determined solely on how Connor, our dear boy, deals with the devil that was ransacking the place. So as of the minute, we'll just say it is very
Crazy.
yeah. It is either horrifying and disturbing and you're scared for everyone's existence, or things look weird. Maybe they had a fire recently. And they're only just getting their shit together. We'll see. But as you all arrive in Wimbar Pass, you land about a mile off, just so you're not on unsteady ground and you can actually get off the ship. And it can rest and restore some of the natural magic that it requires to constantly elevate, because you have been on a journey for 11.5 days. It needs some time to itself. The captain and a couple of the crew kind of just generally mention that they'll spend the time looking around. Obviously the ship won't be unmanned. They, as well as the deckhands you took with you, will kind of stick around a little bit, but they'll send some people out to check the area and bring in some bits they might need. And and you guys are free to kind of wander as you want. I'll say technically this is kind of where we have to end it, regardless of time, because, again, depending on how it goes with Connor. And I mean, if I'm being frank, I'm pretty sure he's going to win the fight, and things will go fine. But on the off chance that crits and terrible shit happens, yeah. I will say that as you all arrive, Esatari, this place, unlike Gustodon, has, at least where you are at the minute, it has a calm feeling to it. And there are some spots here and there that have little flicks of a fey feel to it, but for the most part, this entire continent is very much the established City of Lights kind of place, and there's not as much of that magical feeling as you would have had with Gustodon, which has a pseudo fey connection thanks to the Drow and their fey connection. They are naturally touched by the Fey realm. This place is, it's just another place in the world, really. It's not really connected to the niceties. So you kind of feel a little less happy about it, but you kind of look around, it's still growing a lot of natural fauna and flora, and the trees around here are growing beautifully. The roots, like, even just thinking about it and placing a hand on a tree, you can feel it's growing beautifully. A couple of the trees around here have been growing for hundreds and hundreds of years and have not been touched once. No chopping for woodwork, nothing. And even the leaves that do fall from the trees all have a rich green coloration, and those that end up dying feel like it's how it's supposed to be, the natural form of life. The circle of life, you could say.
Yes, it's like initial disappointment, and then it's like, it's alright, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Healthy place.
Not to mention, though you don't dream in particular, while you're in your unconscious state, you have this ease of rest around here, surprisingly. The closer you get to cities, however, that rest will return to a more natural, slight difficult state. But while in Windbar Pass, sleep comes very easy to you. But yeah.
Nice.
That sounds great right now.
Yeah.
Funnily enough,
Can we have that in real life, please?
Chloe, as
Yeah.
you leave Gustodon and the pseudo-fey and slight city nature, along the travel across the sea, at first you find a kind of difficulty with it because you've never had air travel before, and it's that nauseous kind of, I'm not moving, why is the thing moving, this doesn't make any sense. And you and Vlad kind of have to get sea legs for a while.
Yeah. We get airsick.
Yeah, but it never really gets to the point of like, it's always the case of just like on the edge. But eventually as you acclimate, you find a comfort in the air, and then eventually when you land and you look around, you in particular, Vlad doesn't seem to really care, he's used to trees. You've both lived in a place that's incredibly stuffed to the brim with the shit, but you have this strange natural enjoyment being here. Maybe it's just because everywhere you've been in the past, who knows even what time frame by now, you've been either underground or you've been in this stuffy mountain, and any other travel has been few and far between with air and actual living, growing life, and vibrant life at that. And it feels enriching, surprisingly. Maybe you're missing home in some weird way, or maybe it's this new pseudo-fey thing you've got since connecting with Esatari. Vlad doesn't seem to have it at the very least, but that could be associated to his age.
Interesting.
Yeah. As you do get those couple of moments where you're walking around with the others, kind of looking about, inspecting, looking toward the villages in the distance, and kind of this grin. And you look at Vlad. You and Vlad both, in the same moment, as you're kind of like grinning at each other, suddenly feel this surge of energy running through your heads like a lightning bolt. And you hear, "My children, my children."
Yeah.
And the both of you are like wincing as it's this shock through your skulls. You
Ew, I
must
don't like it.
return home eventually. There is a destiny at hand. Strangers, they would mock and alter your fates, but I would not have this. Return home. You are in need, and my will must meet. I will give you the power you were destined to take. And as the voice slips into the backs of your minds with a slight echo, your brother, as he recoils from it, he just kind of like falls to the ground, holding onto his head, and
Oh no.
you see like the veins are crawling along his head, like he's having the worst headache ever. For you, you have a similar effect, but right now, because of Lad's current condition, yours subsides a lot quicker than his does.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
No, I don't know. Did I recognise the voice?
Mm-hmm. You know who it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna put my hands on Vlad and just hold him for a second and
You
just be like, "Nope, we're free now. We have our people. This is fine."
you hear a very vague whimper for a second as you hold him, as
Oh.
you at first are concerned about that reaction to you, and then you realise that, well, the upbringing wasn't good, and
Yeah.
the reaction to that voice would assume that pain comes after.
Oh, Vlad, why
And for
did I
a-
leave you with her?
For a second there is almost like an intention to push you away, but then his eyes look forward, and the intention continues for a second, and then he realises who he's looking at, and then he kind of just falls into it. And his eyes look almost dead inside.
No.
There's no tears to it. There's been plenty of that. And then he just kind of like holds on to you with a looseness. And there will be a couple of moments of that.
I sort of loosened my grip on him, but I'm still there.
Mhm.
And just start kind of rocking him backwards and forwards a little bit like I used to do when we were little, and they were, arguing with some random person, and all the noises outside were a bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just cradle him
Mm.
and just tell him that we're with our people now.
He nods. He does kind of quickly take a look around, sees a couple of people on the top deck. These the new workers for the ship. Sees Trafalgar. Sees obviously the rest of the crew, Asatari in the distance, looking over concerned, I'd assume. Like Orisov in the distance, just kind of checking that everyone's actually there. And he does kind of start stabilizing his breath, just a little bit. The thing that concerns you a little, that you don't make an immediate look towards, though you do see it. You see on the left side of his temple, just just a little bit above the eyebrow, you see what looks to be some kind of blackened mark as some kind of symbol. What? Actually, no, I don't even know why I'm acting as if you wouldn't know. You see the runic symbol for power that has been etched into the side of his head.
Bloody.
You see, as he's looking up at you, his eyes slowly drift toward the corner of yours as well. And you see his hand kind of reaches slowly and he gently touches the side of your head. And he explains to you what sounds like the symbol for change. And for context, despite the tee-hee-ha-ha jokes about the intellect of Vanessa, she would know as a spell scribe that those two symbols are only ever followed by a third, which is the symbol of intellect. And those three symbols have, as far as you're aware, and with your recent understanding of your mother, have only ever occurred when there is a power of 3 involved. And considering that you've heard or have been shown or otherwise, I honestly can't remember the specifics, but I know you've been told at least, your mum has had some kind of hag-like aspects of her past, and that she had 2 sisters, and those 2 sisters would have represented symbols of their own. And your mother, being a hag, can turn children into hags. And you, your brother, and presumably her, each have the symbols of a hag's coven. The only thing that you can even begin to think of as a plausible defense is that your mother isn't here. She would have to take you away, take you to a lair, conjure spells over several hours and days and weeks to fully convert you. The only thing you're scared of in the back of your mind is that Vlad was there for so long, he could have been converted. You have the natural magical prowess and something of a learned style of magic. So your power never came from her. It was just something you were innately capable of. But he has, every time he gets angry, seems to explode with the magic.
He has wild magic.
Mm.
Oh no!
So if he ever gets if she ever gets her hands back on Vlad, and somehow manages to keep a hold of you, you more than likely will lose yourself to her magic. But
Fuck
again,
that bitch.
yeah, she's miles and miles away, and considering a hag coven needs 3 hags to be fully powerful, she herself is heavily diminished. But that's not to say she has nothing. But yeah. And you seemingly have the mark of the coven.
Ah, that bitch.
It's a long story short. Get ready. She
Well
might be
done,
coming
bitch.
for you soon.
No!
Yay!
Oh, bitch. Oh, back to your fucking
Go back
shack
to
and
your whore lair.
following your men.
So
He's
yeah,
off.
that's your bit of
Leave us
fun.
alone. We finally got to a place where we were doing good.
And Lycoris, funnily enough, I have good news for you.
Oh!
Assuming you're there.
Yeah, I'm here.
I was going to say the one time I have good news. So, honestly, funny as it sounds, the only good news is the no news, because you have your inheritance, which is a lovely, lovely £30,000 skyship. You have full crew. You have a couple of dock hands who, if you treat well enough, might stay with you. Your party are all with you, except for Brewin, whom, again, may or may not be dead, but I mean, we'll figure that out at some point. I'll let you guys know when me and him get in touch. You are currently safe. I mean, your story continues, but at the same time, your real, yeah, your real problems are not following you anymore. The Ornament has been dealt with a hand that you believe you can trust, and you can get access to. Your family are in something of a healthy state, finally. I mean, you can't see your father anymore, but I mean, that's kind of neither here nor there, really.
Yeah.
Brain cult. And just saying, I thought of the brain cult shit before Baldur's Gate 3 come out. Just saying. And yeah, the one love interest that you might actually venture with is alive and with you, and your brother or Ishkari is alive and well. The only loose ends are Orlinth and Ishi himself. And
Nice.
yeah. And finally, and not least of all, Trafalgar Daywright. Are you there? And if you are but can't talk, that is fine too, because I do all the talking a lot of the time anyway.
I am here.
Nice. So, as you all arrive in Windbar Pass, everyone's kind of doing their own thing. There's some bits of antics with the lovely wildlandskin, I'll call them, Lad and Anessa. There's a bit of maybe a smile of contentment finally, maybe, on Lycorus's face. Anessa is inspecting the local wildlife, realising that this place isn't as bad as, you might have thought. But you are back in your home territory. Now, while you've never been to Windbar Pass yourself, you have enough lay of the land that you know the Rogue's Den is nearby. A place where a few of your contacts might reside. A few people who also might be looking for you for many illegal and you need to worry bad reasons, but at the minute it's not a big worry. No one really knows who or where you are at this moment, so, it's kind of up in the air about that. You're very close to the capital city. I'll ask you. Obviously, you've got this whole thing with Brewin and you have a ship, but once that's all over and done with, are you heading home?
That's the intention. For now, yeah. Is get Brewin back for everybody else, and then either hope that they would come with me, or I go and make my own amends at home. And I would want them to come with me, because after landing, I would say he's quite visibly nervous about something. And if he's asked, he's going to play off that he knows he's nearby, somewhere that people may recognize him, and he may owe them money or other things. And that's why he's nervous, but really it's because he's only a few days away from home. And something much more terrible and scary for him.
His mother.
Not just his mother, his whole family.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'll say, to be honest, again, because you guys are this powerful, that I will temporarily veto. Oh, not veto, sorry. I will push forward events only in the sense of I'm under the great assumption, easy assumption you guys would, yet again, go leaps and bounds for Brewin's survival, or dealing with whatever the aftermath is, regardless. So, when and if that's dealt with, and you guys head to the capital, obviously I'll narrate this proper when we actually get around to it, but for the sake of getting an actual resolution, by the time you do get home, at the grand doors to the dining room, there would be familiar faces, of course, attending and inspecting you and your friends, and they would require that you leave visible weapons at the door. And as you walk in, you would see, of course, your mother at the end of the table, a stony face, but only because she is a hearty woman. She has to be stalwart and ready, and though that face doesn't stay as ironed for long as you walk in, you see your brother Damark is stood to her left, looks over toward you with no change in facial expression. She stands slowly, comes walking over toward you, and with a expression you would not expect before saying anything or getting the lay of your demeanour. It's almost like she just reads you immediately. Her face turns into a smile as she looks down toward you. Places a hand gently on your shoulder. She's wearing a full plate mail as of the moment. She's seemingly just coming back from some, maybe a practice of some kind or an important meeting. She's well dressed, makeup proper, though she seems to kind of resent the makeup itself, but you're more so taking that as a lower level insight than what she's giving off. And as she has a hand on your shoulder, looks down at you with the smile, and she doesn't give that air, but there's a part of your heart looking up at her in this moment, and something about these feelings that are welling up, and thinking about everything that's happened recently, and Kingsley and Bert both being different than you remember. Damark seems roughly about the same, but even your mother has this weird air about her, and it stirs up these, I don't know, maybe it's awkward for Trafalgar that he feels happy to be home. But what would you do with your mother smiling, a hand on your shoulder, seemingly happy to see you home in the few seconds before she says anything?
He's not going to be sure because he's just going to be thinking about how that smile is the smile that she used to use when he would run into the library asking her to read stories when he was younger. And then, yeah, he's just going to feel oddly content and happy, like you say. He's finally home, and it doesn't feel like they resent him for leaving. So he's just happy. He's not really going to say anything. He's going to wait for her to speak, as that's the polite thing to do as well.
So, first and foremost, we'd go under the assumption and the necessary detail of you would have been shown your room, shown assorted clothing and the like to put on instead of, obviously, the blood-soaked, dirt-smeared, ragged shit you all end up wearing half the time because you've no real choice. So you'd be like dressed to the nines in whatever you deem is appropriate. And she kind of looks you over, just says, "I'm glad to have you home, my son. We have some things to discuss, namely your brothers and your inheritance. Though there have been some rough years and misunderstandings, it is time we aired our problems. I am reaching the apex of my years. I cannot guarantee many more. And as much as I probably should or could try to find a way to extend it, I believe it is time for each of you to find your footing properly. Her eyes have been kind of like glancing around in a kind of a deep thought, and then as she finishes her sentence, she looks at you in the eyes, and there's that moment of like, there's a kind of tension in your chest as she's looking you directly in the eyes, which isn't an alien thing, but you feel this sense of seriousness. I am going to be doling out inheritances, but as I stated in my letters, we will have to finalize and bring some understanding between my boys. Kingsley has earned enough of a name where I need not give him anything more than my weaponry and a lovely house for him and his wife. Bert is... You see Demark at the back go, Bert is a buffoon, mother, yes. Bert is a buffoon. With this recent scandal, and I hear you were involved in subduing him, so thank you for that. I was this close to disowning him. He nearly ruined our name with such a foolish act. But nonetheless, he will get something. Demark, of course, will take over the business side. But now we just have to decide what we leave you. And if we do leave you anything. But given what I've heard from Kingsley and Bert, I believe there is no need for paperwork and over-the-top antics. She kind of waves her hand a little bit towards Demark, and you see he holds up a contract, and you can see that his name, Bert's, Kingsley's, and a space where your name would be is written down, and your mother's name is written just above that. There is no need for the theatrics, so I will just give you your inheritance. It will be a large sum of money and a good home for you when you are done, as well as a hefty sum towards a charity of your choosing, of course, as is our penchant. I expect it to be at some church of your choosing, of course, my son, but nonetheless, I will say nothing more of the matter. You have, with your actions, in Gustodden with your brothers, and protecting the realm, from what I've heard, earned it. I will do nothing else but praise you from here on. And she kind of just stares in your eyes and sees the, subtle layers of anxiety. I apologize, I have been rambling. You can take a seat if you are feeling shaky.
Feeling shaky, he would be fighting back tears at this point.
You see as one of the attendants come over, pass her a napkin, she goes, "Thank you, you may leave." And she gently, dabs around your eyes, completely ignoring any attempts to stop her, if any. And you see Demark at the back, kind of staring over at you with confusion and a little bit of is he playing this? Is this some kind of bid for my part of the inheritance, or what is this? He doesn't believe it at first, looking at it. And I assume none of the party would either.
Oh, I'm not hiding it, but I am fighting back, so it would be for them.
Who am I to judge?
You see, as
Hey, we're both heirs now. Nice.
yeah. So as she pulls the paper over, places it down on the table, she takes a quill, places it down beside it. You, at your own pace, give a quick skim read, but for the sake of quick context, even before she dies, you have a large mansion in the capital city that's under your name. You will have 40,000 gold pieces assigned to your inheritance, to do with whatever the fuck you want, and that means that's for the rest of your life. Like, if you use that all up, that's you done. That's your inheritance. You get nothing else. And other than that, your brothers have no claim to your inheritance. You have no claim to theirs. On the day of her death, you had the full thing. Here and now, she says she can give you 10,000 if you would like it. However, judging by your current lifestyle, it's probably best she holds on to it.
Yeah, it's probably
just
best.
for drugs.
Oh, and 5,000 gold pieces to a charity or a church of your choice. And you do know that there is a church that, of course, your family follows. And
Yes.
subsequently yourself.
Yes, which is where I would intend for it to go.
Okay. And she will notice, of course, the necklace, depending on how much you show it off. And she won't make note of it, but there will be that nod of approval, and seems to be more proud of the fact, because obviously when you'd previously left, there was probably some bad choices, and seeing you've come back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Seeing you come back with a lot of new faces, powerful allies, you've done this grand deed in Custodon, you've in part made up with your brothers. Like, she doesn't have the time to say it. Between all of this, there's a lot of technical shit you have to get through with her, but she's proud of the man that her black sheep has become. The one that she feared for the most. The one that she missed when the little boy left and became a black market assassin who did a lot of very, very shitty things and had a lot of like D&D World cocaine.
Yes.
And now he's a hero, and he's got good allies, and he's got a good family, like, and probably should talk to his coke dealer, because there's probably some sketchy things going on there that you might want to resolve at some point.
Oh yeah, he's aware.
But yeah.
And that's why he's not taking the money right now.
Yeah. The second you meet that guy, it's going to be like, okay, well, you owe me back pay for this. Oh, you've got 10 grand. Cool, I'll take all that.
Yeah.
But yeah. We'll do a more long-winded and better informed version of this the next time we get hold of you.
Yeah. Just for reference, I have updated my picture and I believe my token to what he's going to be changed into when he's in that.
Let me see. Oh, look at you, fucking Mr. Bling.
You've cleaned up.
Nice.
Oh, look at you.
Did you see his hair?
Yeah.
Shocking.
He's not hiding his head.
No.
The young...
Gotta face his mother.
Exactly. Yeah. The young son of the Dayrite family has returned in all his glory.
Nice.
Oh, cute.
And yeah. I'll give a more apt description of what happened in Wind by Pass when me and Connor get the chance to finish off that. But again, you guys are there several days later. Worst case, you reincarnate him again. Fucking, like, honestly, I'm not gonna faff about that. It's been too many times the poor fucker's been killed. So, yeah, there'll be some bits next time where you learn his current face's backstory. You might have to convince his current father to let him go, or it might just be the case if he says, well, fuck this place, let's go. We'll find out. And then there'll be the journey to and fro there to the capital city, and all the travel, you'll have to dock and go from like one corner of the city to his place, maybe hire some hirelings in between, and there's a whole bunch of shit you can do. A crap load of time between here and there. Something we can all talk about in between. Of course, if anyone has any recommendations for how your room should look, Rachel is the one doing the map, because thank fuck for that, because I'm terrible at them.
I'm already part way through.
Oh god, she looks fast.
Are you gonna make the rooms like what our personalities are? Oh,
I'll do this.
that would be cool.
So if you've got any recommendations, you guys should put them in now while she's doing it. Like, she works fast from what I've seen.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So,
I need to go back. I think we've missed something here.
what's that?
Not about the map. Oh shit, that's it. Yeah, my the guy who I owe the money to is in Windbar Pass at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
As of the end of the previous session.
Yes.
So I won't have that money by the time we meet him. That's a whole other thing that needs playing out. Okay, cool.
I will put
Tell
him...
him to meet you at your mum's place.
No, no.
Come meet my mum.
Because either my
I'm
mum,
so proud. Oh.
either my mum's gonna end up dead.
Son.
Either my mum's gonna end up dead, or he's gonna end up dead. And one way or another, that doesn't end well for me.
No.
Well, I mean, if you get the inheritance first, could blag it off as an accident.
Oh no, he died.
No,
wow.
I was talking about the mother.
Oh.
Yeah, not
yeah,
when
no.
Kingsley's around.
Well, to be fair, like,
that
spoiler
guy
alert.
destroys gods.
Yeah, I was going to say, spoiler alert, your brother will be around. Either eventually or there and then.
Yeah.
And he kills, like, dragons and shit, so... Like,
Yeah.
killing some old dude that's probably got a gang of pirates with him ain't going to be difficult.
No, it's not.
But yeah.
Not the best impression for mummy though, is it?
No.
Mummy!
Mother,
Help!
I've brought a pirate with me. Help.
Give him your money.
Don't you mean your money?
Well, it's gonna be my money.
But yeah, that will be that.
For a good few weeks from me.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'm just glad this session happened, to be honest. Because, like,
I know.
I don't know why in the back of my head I was like, oh yeah, we'll have easily like 2 more sessions with him. And then I was like, oh shit, September. And when you said September, I was like, oh shit, it's September. Oh no, has the time gone? He's never going to get another game. And I immediately typed to, I think it was like Chloe, and then I copy pasted to everybody, like, can you make tomorrow, please? This is like game, help. Yeah.
I was like, yes, we need a session.
We need our session.
I know. I was getting worried that we weren't going to be able to have one,
But yeah.
It.
Last session revelations before the Atlesia party goes on tour.
Yep.
Or is on tour, specifically. Right, well, double A Ron, it is a pleasure.
Yeah.
That will be session, obviously, everyone.
Yeah.
Congratulations once again, double A Ron.
Show
Thank
us
you.
pictures of Bibby when Bibby arrives.
I will.
Keep us
Yeah, I will.
updated.
Yay!
I will.
It's like,
Thanks, guys.
it's like, oh, you'll have a
Speak
baby.
to you.
You're so cute.
Baby in D&D.
No.
Wait, did you say
Not
put
in
the
this game.
did you say put the baby in D&D?
Ba-
No.
Yes. How old do you have to
No.
be to play D&D?
Oh, to play.
that
Oh,
yeah,
guy.
like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
At some
different.
point, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
What's the age rating for D&D?
I've already said to Erin, like, gotta get the kid into D&D at some point, like quick as.
Yeah.
Like,
First word is like D20.
Nat 20.
yeah, to be fair, the second that baby has any degree of control over their hands, get them to roll a d20. All I'm saying is if they roll a natural 1, run. That kid is fucking cursed.
But if it's a natural 20, then
Oh, yeah,
wow.
no, good luck for the rest of his life.
Natural 20, they're a chosen one.
Yes,
Yeah.
they will bring you all the good fortune.
Yeah.
But yeah. I won't. If anyone has to go out, I'm not keeping you, by the way. Feel free to just disappear.
It will be about. Jesus Christ.
It's a trap. But yeah.
Right, I'm gonna go then, because I've still got work tomorrow.
Oh, same.
I will see you when I see you. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
give us.
Bye.
Just give a warning whenever you can.
Yeah, we'll do. Cheers. Bye.
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 Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I will send you the map tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks cool though. I like it a lot. You're so quick.
She don't fuck.
Nighty night.
The night.
Go boy.
Bye.
Boy. And that's. Oh, thank you for the follow. Oh, I'm really blind. I'm sorry. That was for now because one of our players is having a baby. That is the last session of Atlesia specifically for a while he gets prepared with life with the Baba. However, we will be playing Atlesia Expedition, a game set in the same world with different people, and we might, with the same crew except for Erin, have but we might have a session this week of Descent into Avernus, the module, slightly altered by me because it's awkward at the start. But yeah, stick around for that.